Doesn't take a lot to realize that American football is, well, dominated by Americans. The NFL is at least 90% full of American-born players, and that definitely makes sense as they are raised around the game and taught it from a very young age. It is everything in the United States. However, the country to the north is finally starting to get American football athletes. Canada has always been acknowledged as a hockey country. Hockey and lacrosse are to Canada what football and baseball are to America. And I've seen it firsthand as a Canadian kid who has grown up very passionate about football and hockey. The coolest thing to see now is Canadian players in the NFL. And I'm not talking about one or two like when John Ryan of the Seahawks and Austin Collie of the Indianapolis Colts were playing in the league. I'm referencing how the game has grown in Canada. Currently, between the practice squad and the active rosters, there are 25 players that are Canadian on NFL teams. And they're not just any guys. Some of them are the top of their position in the entire league. I've already made a video in this series about Jevon Holland, who is becoming one of the best safeties in the NFL, and he's just in his second season out of Oregon. There was even a Canadian starting quarterback this season. Sure, he was thrown into the fire after backing up Russell Wilson, but Brett Ripon still made an NFL start. The numbers are growing each and every year. We're starting to see Canadians that are making an impact on Sundays. As good as Jevon Holland, Chuba Hubbard, and Chase Claypool all are, I believe that there is one guy that nobody is talking about who can be even better. The Los Angeles Chargers are a creative team with lots of star power on both sides of the football. When healthy, the receiving core is among the league's best. Obviously, that starts with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. But in 2022, it has been a big year for a Canadian wide receiver. Joshua Palmer has been thrown into the fire due to injuries and has found his place in the Chargers offense, and he is the next Canadian superstar. A breakout season in year 2 has Chargers fans on the edge of their seats, knowing that they drafted their next elite receiver. But the question remains, who is Joshua Palmer? This is Canadian Connections Episode 3 from Brampton, Ontario, Joshua Palmer of the Los Angeles Chargers. Palmer was born September 22nd, 1999 in Brampton, Ontario, a city that is very close to Toronto. Palmer's father was a varsity football player for the University of Windsor, and he was also Joshua's first coach. In high school, while attending St. Roch's Catholic, Palmer was a 3-sport athlete and a 3-sport star. Basketball, track and field, and of course, football. Palmer played both sides of the ball on the gridiron, and he was amazing. The defensive back / wide receiver helped lead the school to back-to-back championships. Additionally, he was named the Junior Athlete of the Year in grade 10. The passion for the game was clear for Palmer, as outside of high school, he was a star for 2 local football teams in Burlington as well as Brampton, Ontario. Palmer was involved as much as he could be in the sport, attending camps across the border, training daily, and working towards a goal that in Canada is often seen as unrealistic. Football really isn't football here. It doesn't carry the same meaning. Local leagues often have trouble filling out a team. Quarterbacks have to play multiple positions as well as everybody on the field. You're lucky if you get 15 kids wanting to show up to play for a football team. Football definitely carries a different meaning in Canada, and that is why it is so beyond important to have Canadian players in the National Football League. It does more than uplift a community. It makes a goal realistic to kids that are around an entire country. Joshua Palmer was heavily recruited to play high school football in America. Knowing that it would be best for his career, he would leave home to attend St. Thomas Aquinas in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, a high school powerhouse in America, and Joshua Palmer knew what he was leaving, and he knew it was the best decision for his career. As he cited, quote, "I knew what I wanted to achieve in order to play college and professional football. I needed the exposure, so moving to St. Thomas was definitely a business move. Ever since I decided to make that move for the possibility of an NFL career, I was like, okay, this is really happening." After 2 more strong seasons of high school football in the States, Joshua Palmer became a Tennessee Volunteer. Palmer was overshadowed by 2 other elite Canadian receivers in Chase Claypool of Notre Dame and, of course, John Mechie III of Alabama. His freshman year was slow, 9 games, 9 grabs, 98 yards. But despite COVID cutting his Vols career short, Palmer still had a very nice showing. 3 straight seasons of just shy of 500 yards had him set up well to become the second of the 3 dominant wideouts from Canada to make it in the National Football League. The Chargers would spend a round 3 draft pick on Joshua Palmer, and he hasn't looked back. Between the confidence from the NFL team in the Chargers to spend that high of a pick on Palmer after having all the odds stacked against him, you pair that with the confidence that his home country had in him. As a 3rd round pick in the NFL, most Canadian prospects, unless they are selected really high, at least will have their CFL rights picked up by a team. This was not the case for Joshua Palmer. He went undrafted despite being the top-ranked prospect in the CFL draft. Although Palmer hasn't had a flashy start to his NFL career, he has been pretty good considering the fact that he's sitting 3rd string behind Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. He stepped up huge during those injuries, and what nobody expected was on a Sunday Night Football game against the Chiefs, with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams both in the lineup, that Joshua Palmer would be the #1 receiver in just his 2nd season. What Palmer has been able to achieve in just shy of a 2-year span in the National Football League so far has been pretty impressive. Year 2 for Palmer has been insane. Although he's struggled to stay healthy when he has been on the field, he has been one of Justin Herbert's top targets. He's on pace to finish with over 750 receiving yards in just his 2nd season. For the small sample size that we have seen of Joshua Palmer in the National Football League, it has been nothing short of impressive from the Canadian product. He has made 100% of Canada proud, and being a kid who is so passionate about the NFL, from a small town in Canada, seeing players like Benjamin St-Juste of the Washington Commanders, like Laurent Duvernay-Tardif of the New York Jets, Javon Holland from the Dolphins, Chase Claypool from the Bears, Chuba Hubbard, who is from very close to my hometown, and now, of course, Joshua Palmer, it does nothing but uplift the community. Being able to see players on my favorite teams be from Canada, Jesse Luketa of the Arizona Cardinals, the Penn State linebacker, it has been so rewarding, and you gotta root for each and every one of those guys. I love them all, and I'm so proud to be Canadian just by what these 25 guys are doing in the National Football League. I hope that you guys enjoyed the 3rd episode of Canadian Connections. Let me know who you guys want to see next in this series, and leave a like on the video if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys all next time. Goodbye.